Yay! Hi everyone, it's Maria. Sorry I'm running a little late. Before I know it, time's gone by. I wonder even if anybody's here. So, awesome! So today we're gonna actually be talking about my blog. We're gonna be going here. That's where we're gonna be going. But before that, I want to check and just make sure that everything is running flow, like on Facebook, on YouTube, and everything else. So let's go to video live on YouTube and look what it looks like. Okay, on Facebook, on YouTube. Turn that sound off so we don't have an echo. And I don't see anybody out here. Oh, we got one person on Facebook, which could be me though. We don't know who that is yet because I have it open on there. Okay. Then it looks like YouTube. Alright, YouTube is loading. YouTube haven't fully came up yet. But Twitch TV is running and up and live, which is good. So Twitch is on. YouTube is just the only one that is still kind of buffering going on. So what I'm gonna do is close some windows and see if that will make things better. But yes, yay, we got it working. Alright, so for any of y'all don't know, so basically today I decided we were going to do a live chat. It was going to talk over about Little Elf in a Big Pond of Drama, the comic industry, my new blog, which I'm really happy and proud of because it has actually been doing pretty decent and all, with not much, awareness and building up. I think I got like 4 followers right now on there on WordPress, and it gets actually a decent amount of traffic, even though I only have like 5 followers. I get a lot of people that come in and out because I guess of the topics that I'm actually talking about. So there is growing interest in that, which is really cool. So we have that going on. Now, I did post a new blog yesterday. I finished working on it and everything. This one looks more like a sell pitch, but it's around a really good topic. It's around the tariffs that President Trump has put on Chinese goods and all, because we are going to probably see a difference soon in retail stores and how merchandise is probably going to end up spiking. However, the ones that are not going to be spiking are the ones who have already been doing the practice and, doing practice of made products in America and all. My product is not going to be affected by that because even Printful that I use for like t-shirts, mugs, prints, and things like that, they use manufacturers that are made in America. So Gibson shirts, like, if you ever look on the back of the tag of a shirt and you see like who's the manufacturer of that shirt. And I'm not talking about the stuff that's on the print. I'm talking about before you print the shirt, when it's just a plain shirt, like who actually makes the shirt before you even put the design on it and all. And there is a manufacturer who does shirts and stuff like that and does clothing in the US. They just don't get a lot of business because, of course, goods from China is going to be way much cheaper because you are paying for cheaper labor costs and all compared to, products that's in America and all. However, that is going to change soon because soon they're going to be they're going to be basically a feed that's going to be any product that comes from China into the United States. And all the retail stores, especially the big ones, are not too happy about that. They already sent a letter to President Trump asking him, not to do this because their concerns that, they're going to have to increase the price. They're going to lose jobs because they're not going to be able to pay for the goods and da 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 da. They're panicking because they've been doing this for a longest time. And to be honest, the people that work in a lot of stores, especially like Walmart, a lot of them don't have great paying jobs. And a lot of them are actually underpaid for the amount of work and labor they do anyway. So, because, there's companies like Walmart that, they push the envelope to the point where, they're going to try to get as much profit out of they can, and they're going to have really, really cheap goods. So people will always come to Walmart before they go to any of the small entrepreneurs and all. Because even back in the 90s, it was a huge thing when Walmart first came about, was because Walmart started coming into these neighborhoods, and because they priced the goods so freaking low, they ran a lot of the entrepreneurs out. There was a lot of shops that shut down, that went out of business. Because now when you look, you'll see a Walmart almost around every freaking corner, like in the suburban areas, the urban areas. There's still some areas that tries to fight it when Walmart tries to come in the area, but that's been kind of like gone on deaf ear to the point where nobody even hears about it anymore and all. But it's actually a really cool thing for artists, for all the entrepreneurs because all the entrepreneurs that has their own t-shirts design, has their own mugs design, comes out with cool stuff, that wants to come out with some cool products and everything like that for, for your customers and everything, to try to stay afloat so you can keep drawing and do all your cool creative things. Well, this is a cool thing now, because guess what? Most of y'all were probably already getting your merchandise from, like, Made in America, because companies like Printful that makes it possible for you to do it and gives you the tools and the shipping and everything, where all in a one place, are doing manufacture in the USA. So this is actually really, really good news for the artists and all, which I'm really proud and really happy about this and all. So I decided on my website, I'm going to, so, oh, we're going double screen. um, yeah, on my website, which I'll show you in a bit, but let's go to here. Alright, because this is where I have it. So, this is my blog, and here it is. It's about time, made in USA. So, I am actually gonna, with this news coming about, I am actually gonna be running a sale. I'm gonna be running a sale of 20% off all items except for prints. So it's going to be pretty much anything from the mugs, the shirts, even iPhone cases and things like that. I'm going to do a 20% off sale going on there all the way, and from yesterday all the way until July 7th, even after 4th of July. So it's going to be a big 4th of July sale that I'm going to do. And I thought this would be an awesome time to take advantage of this and go ahead and launch this up for people who wants to make the transition to switching over from buying American goods, from buying stuff made in China and everything. Because you realize, like, when you start putting money into these products and things like that, you're actually going to start creating more revenue inside the US, because you know what? People are going to start competing. I would not be surprised if all of this happened. There will be people that will be stepping up to make their own manufacturer company and bring more manufacturer jobs and all. Because as this news, comes about and everything like that, this gives an opportunity for more people to actually, start different businesses out there, which is really cool. Because if we can get more manufacturing in the U.S., that will also bring down goods too, and then people like me can actually start doing comparison facts, and they were like, oh, okay, for this product I might be better to go with this vendor because I can get a really cool deal, and then I can pass that on to my customers and help them with that and all. Oh, this is cool, we got this kind of deal with this and all. And and that's how where stuff change and stuff gets better, which is really cool and all. But yeah, kind of excited about that. So I'm gonna be doing a sale basically on my website, and it's gonna be really good news. and all. But yeah, that's pretty much the exciting news that's been going on. That I'm really excited about that part of news that came in. Yeah, and it came out yesterday. Yeah, he came out yesterday and sold it. And then I heard that like Walmart, Target, and a couple others sent President Trump a letter to him asking him, please do not do this. Please don't put a tariff on it. So the big corporations are already trying to be active and trying to persuade him to not take this action and all, which is really interesting and all because right now we're seeing a lot of different changes in the US for sure. I mean, we seeing that, but we're also seeing that Google, Facebook, and everything, because that was the other big news that came out today. Google CEO begged um, the Justice Department not to break it up, that it needs to be a big, corporations to be able to do like AI, tech research and everything and all. So, yeah, that was interesting to hear. And then the Justice Department said they're going to come out and also look at regulating Facebook and a few others like Twitter, YouTube. They're probably also going to look into Pinterest, what's going on with that, because there were a lot of news recently behind Pinterest and all that happened. So I would not be surprised that we hear a whole lot more about that kind of stuff. And the reason why this is relevant as an artist is that right now the biggest problem that an artist has is ads. Is Facebook has basically dominated the ad market and made it impossible for small entrepreneurs to use them. Because when I'm not using the ads on my Facebook, my viewership don't my people don't actually get to see my post. It doesn't come across their feed very often and all. And Facebook is like, wow, you got 14 people to look at that post that reacted to that post. And I'm going, 14 is not a lot. If it only reached about 14 and all, and on my community page, we have 109 people who follows me on my community page. So 14 is a very long number. I shouldn't be celebrating that and all. And what they're trying to do is make me hit that boost button that doesn't work, because you won't believe how many times I've came across how that boost button doesn't work. I've tried using it many times, and I might get a lot of likes on the post. I'll get a lot of people liking it, but but they changed up how I want to put my ad. They never keep the post like the way I have it. They never keep it like with the word descriptions and everything. They change stuff up. They screw things up where they screw the videos if it's a video post, and they put something completely different that I never asked for. I can't go back and edit it and edit the ad and everything after the boost. I pay money to get the ad running, but then they won't let me edit and fix what they screwed up. And they also screwed up the description. So then I can never have what I need to say to the people out there who is looking at it for the first time. So they never get a good representation of who I am and what my message is to them as an artist and what I have to offer to them. So because of that that gets screwed up, I might with ad might get maybe one more follower, one more, and all, because I'll get all these people clicking like and everything on the post, and I'll have all these people that say, oh, we reached this many people and such and such and such and such and such and all, and then your demographic and everything, but that doesn't really do any good in the long run. All it did was spend money for Facebook, and Facebook took advantage that I have really good contact, and then they just use it as a way to advertise more people to go to Facebook because I provided them the contact and all. But I did not get more followers. I did not get more, like, more people interested in my product and all. I didn't get more people on my website for sure, because I'll even have links to my website to get them the information and try to maybe have them sign up for my newsletter and all. But I wouldn't get any of that. And that's one of those things where it's like, okay, you say that you're going to provide ad for me, but what are you really providing for me? Because all I saw was pretty much you're taking advantage of my art. You're taking advantage of the hard work that I put into it, of my creations, my originality, and you're using to sell Facebook. It should be the opposite. You should be actually helping me sell my art when I do an ad. Because that's what the whole point of an ad. The whole point of an ad is to actually help you advertise your business. However, that's not how it works on Facebook at all. So, most likely knowing that I'm going live and I'm chatting about this, I am going to leave this video on Facebook, but it's very possible they're probably going to limit, and they're probably going to censor what I say on this video too, because there's tutorials for that as well, because there's a lot of stuff controversially, especially going on with Facebook, Google, YouTube, Twitter, all of them and all. So I would not be surprised if that is happening. That's why I broadcast in more than just Facebook. I do it to YouTube, and I also do it to Twit, and I will actually keep these videos posted on all three channels about this and all. And I'll let the majority of people make their own decision about what they think of this and how, and judgment on that and all. All I can do is share from my point of view and the struggle that I have dealt with and everything. But going back to what's been going on, so I haven't really seen, let's see here. I want to see if we got more people in the chat. Okay. So it really is, YouTube is really not doing good right now. The YouTube's been going through a lot. Oh! There we go. YouTube's working. Awesome! So it was just a screen. It was stuck on the screen. But yes, so those are pretty much the stuff that's going on. And definitely. But yeah, so right now as it is, so let's get back to this. So if anybody who do want to like buy products at my website, I'll take you to my website and I'll show you what I got. So we'll just go to the shop page and I'll show you kind of like what I got over here. And this is the kind of the art that I have. I have a lot of different types of art. The best thing you do when you navigate over here is if you got a specific thing you want to see, like the Samsung cases and all. I'm still working on getting some more. Right now I have that one. And then I have Angie on my Etsy page. So what I'm going to do is take that same thing that I have on the Etsy page and put it over here. And like I have lots of mugs on here actually. So I got stuff even with my logos, pass, paint-ins. Yeah, around Valentine's Day, I did a lot of different Valentine's Day kind of like mugs. So I still have those on here. And for those who likes like, the cuteness and especially like that for Valentine's Day. I am thinking about doing a couple of things for 4th of July holiday. I'm going to come up with some new designs. I'm going to work on that on Monday so I can provide that with y'all. But if you do want to use the 4th of July sale, you just, when you go to the checkout, there's a part where you just put the code in. And this is the code. Made in USA 4. All capital letters and then just the number 4 and all. So for some reason, whenever you type the number after this, it puts the number weird, like a little lower, but it's just evenly 4. But yeah, so if anybody who's interested in that, oh, and y'all were interested about the news story, you can find it on USA Today. This is where the story, and this is where in the story it was talking about. So it's Trump administration early Friday was yesterday. Or it was the previous Friday. I can't remember which Friday it is. Um, Trump administration early Friday from the about the doubling of U.S. tariffs of 200 billions in Chinese imported from 10% to 25%, sharply escalated a trade war between the two countries. The president also threatened to slap a 25% tariff on almost all remaining 325 billions in goods shipped in from China. So, a negotiation for the United States and China ends a session of trade talks in Washington on Friday with announcement on agreements and hours after new tariff hike took effect. Yeah, so that is pretty much what's going on. So yeah, it's gonna affect about 5,000 goods, including industrial, chemical, electronic circuits boards, a range of consumer products affecting products including a variance of furniture, clothing, electronics, handbags, luggage, hardware, bikes and bikes helmets, shampoo, perfume, dishes, bed sheets, meat, and cereal. So it's even going to affect our food, the high price. Um, yeah, so I guess we get meat imported from China. I didn't know that. Or, I mean, cereal too. Okay, so that's gonna be interesting. So, will U.S. shoppers see higher prices on store shelves? Almost certainly, American retailers and manufacturers were largely able to absorb the 10% tariffs, um, and narrowing their profit margin. 10% is really not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, I guess in like when it's a large company, it affects like the very small margin, trickles down and affects everybody else because they don't typically like to let it cut into their profits. Most large companies, they probably like to take it out of like the people that works for them. Negotiation offset price cuts with China's suppliers, imports a big stockpile of goods before the tariffs took effect and spread the additional costs across many products. Okay, so it's mostly not going to hit right away. It's going to take a little effect because they already got a large inventory. And so when they start to run out of that inventory, that's when it will start affecting us pretty much. But a 25% duty is too much to camouflage with such tactics, and a big chunk of his expectation to be passed to the U.S. shopper. I mean, it all depends on how you look at it. Yeah, so it'll probably definitely affect us a bit. But I don't know. I think this is an opportunity for people to switch over and all because there are some. They're not a lot in the US as far as US manufacturers. There's not a whole lot. But I wouldn't be surprised if many other people, not just myself, takes advantage of this and put sales on together to try to combat with this, especially the ones who have US goods and all. But I think that would give, the consumer enough time to like, change over to it. They will actually start to like, test out the waters and get a chance to experience new people and new options. And I think that would give enough time for some people, some companies to adjust it, you know, because it'd be kind of crazy. I know they definitely do probably have like they probably they all a lot of large companies gotta like have that buffer, so it shouldn't affect them too bad. And I think what they do is they just wanted to try to scare people and make it sound like it's worse than what it really is. But I also see this as a good opportunities for, us small folks to actually take advantage of it and be like, hey, look, support American goods. Hey, come check me out. Things like that and all. And there's nothing wrong with that. Especially, since, we all want to get paid. Everybody wants to get paid. Nobody not like getting paid on something. So yeah. Unread notice. Okay. But yeah, definitely. I mean, it's gonna take some time to change over. People adjust, but hey, I think it's good news. Alright. So I don't really see many of y'all on board. I don't see anybody in the chat. Been talking for a while. Oh yeah, it's been going on for a good while. Alright, so I probably will switch it up and I might talk about one more thing on here. Let's see here. Oh, this is what I'll talk about. Let me get it up for you. Okay, so in October, I'm going to be coming out with the first ever my comic series published, which I'm really excited about. It's called Angie Adventure and all. So if any of y'all are big Pathfinders or Dungeons and Dragons fans, you're gonna love it. It's an awesome series and all. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and give you like kind of like a rundown of it and all. So right here you see this is Angie. She's an elf. She has dragon blood inside of her. She pretty much her ancestors pretty much had a relationship with a green dragon, and she's the result of that after 500 years, and the first of her family line that the dragon appeared inside her bloodline. So it went dormant for a very long period of time, and then it finally showed up in her, and it showed up in the worst possible way. It was not pretty. She ended up having an episode when she was 10 and almost killing another small little kid her age. So yeah, it was one of those kind of situations. But she lived on. She got to end up moving in with her uncle and all, and so it's her story. She is chaotic neutral. So she kind of like she doesn't really know much about the world, and she grew up in a small elf village, so she doesn't know what kind of world she's in, and she's on a journey. And also, she gets to meet a bunch of fellow travelers, and they travel all together, and they journey together, and they're on a journey together. And so she meets a Norm, and this is him. His name is Two-Bit. He's a Barn, and he's lawfully neutral. He's very short, and he's actually very sensitive about his height, because he looks like the size of a 5-year-old. That's how small he is. And so he's very short and very small, and he's very sensitive about his age, because he's actually adult, but of course people think he's a 5-year-old human child most of the time, because they misunderstand that and all. And then we have our dwarf, and this is Alphon, and he's a tactician. He's lawful neutral too, and he's pretty much he's also a little bit sensitive about his height, but probably not to the point that that Two-Bit is. Two-Bit's more sensitive about his height than Alphon. He's a dwarf. He is more sensitive about when you start messing with his brother, which I'll introduce you to his brother, which is him. This is Frederick. Frederick is a Warforged, and he's actually really tall. He's the tallest character in this whole story. He's actually about like 7 or 8 foot. I haven't decided yet totally, but I'm thinking about more like maybe like 7 foot. Yeah, 7. And he's like really tall, and he's kind of timid. Being that tall, it's surprisingly he's timid and all. And no, Alphon and Frederick are not really like blood relations. It's just that it's how their society grew up together. Warforged, basically were raised in the household of dwarfs. So it's kind of like a symbiotic relationships that certain certain species or certain races or creatures have with each other, and this is one of them. They have a long traditional history, and this is the result of that. So pretty much they're really close together and everything. They consider themselves like brothers and stuff. So they treat each other care. So Alphon gets upset anytime somebody starts messing with Frederick, and Frederick's like, uh okay, let's just don't worry about it. Let's just let this pass. It's okay. I'm not hurt by this. It's all right. Let's just go. And that's pretty much his attitude. That's pretty much how he treats the situation. He's totally different than Alphon. Alphon pretty much just blow his top up and get upset at them and everything and ready to fight about it and stuff. And he's like, "Come on, let's not worry about that. It's okay. It's okay." And yeah. So it's that kind of relationship they have. And then my next character is Yui, and Yui is also, so I have two characters that's also in the story Nocturnal Orphan that I have on Webtoons. And Yui is one of them. This is actually his younger one. I haven't put a most recent picture where he looks older and everything because the first chapter is pretty much just going to introduce um, Louie and Lynn into it and all. But it's going to be this, so that's pretty much the reason why I haven't really like gone too much into what Yuri is yet for the fans. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm doing a building based first on introduce everybody to the main character, which is Angie, and then eventually as time goes by with the series I will start putting more details on the other characters and stuff. So that's what's going on with that and all. But he's actually a Nika. He's a cat person. Nika means cat in Japanese, and he's a monk, and he's chaotic neutral and all. And he lives in a Buddhist temple, which is funny too. And this is Lynn. Lynn is a chamberlain, and she's also an assassin, and she's chaotic neutral too. And she's nocturnal. So it's a fun series. The fun series Nocturnal Orphan is about her when she's basically like a little baby, and as she grows up, I go more into that in the story and stuff. And it's about how she's raised in an orphan, and how she gets bounced from one foster home to the next, and all. But she's actually half hag and sea serpent. And when I say hag, I mean like witch. That's what in this case that's what it means. It means witch. And so Lynn was dropped off as a baby in an orphanage, and due to her being nocturnal, she grew up in a weird way where basically she was bounced from one to one because they couldn't handle her being up all night and sleeping during the day. And it didn't matter what they tried, it just got worse and all because she's a chamberlain. She has the ability to shapeshift. So if you can imagine, a bunch of crazy stuff happens whenever that happens, and especially when you're like anybody who's ever raised kids and had to deal with kids. Could you imagine what the crazy and chaotic situation it could be like when when you're trying to figure out what's wrong with this child, why the baby's crying, and everything like that, and you can't figure out what's going on because that baby can't communicate, but all of a sudden that baby turns into a cat and bites you. That's pretty much happens like with Lynn in Nocturnal Orphan and all. So anybody who's ever been a parent you will understand this. You probably get a crack out of it. It's hilarious. It's funny and stuff. And that's the kind of like, the stuff that I go into when I write my story. We have enough stuff serious in the world as it is. I don't want to write serious and like uptight stories anyway and all, because there's such enough people getting mad over different things all the time. The last thing I want to do is create a story where people are getting like so emotional by it, and they're getting upset that they're being treated this way and such and such and such. I try to keep light humor involved in the story so people can enjoy what they're reading and all. Because let's face it, when people read comics, they're doing it for like the entertainment purposes. So that's the kind of view that I take on it when they do that and all. So yeah, so there you go, Nocturnal Orphan, and I go more into it, and then yeah, and then I tell you basically where you can see it and everything like that. But yeah, so that's the big news. I'm really excited about these characters. They're a lot of fun characters, and they're gonna be a lot of fun. I'm gonna be able to do a whole lot with them, which I enjoy. I like writing these like long series and all. I've had some people tell me, well, you probably shouldn't make the series too long because then you might have trouble keeping people engaged and but it really depends on what kind of story it is, and because the story is complicated and everything like that. I kind of like want to build a story from the ground up where, people fall in love with the characters, and then people want to follow and find out what next. And then they get excited when they see, a different situation and this character's going through that situation and stuff. That's how I see, like, writing stories. I enjoy that kind of stuff myself because I'm a big fan of people like, Fairy Tail, which is an anime. So if you don't know what that is, but I enjoy stories like that are the long series just because I build a relationship with the characters, the character development. You watch them when, like, they first go on their journey, and then you got new things in sight that they bring into a chapter, and they're like, okay, we're going to get this new arc here, and then this is going to happen, and we're going to reveal this big fact about them that we might have never ever mentioned before, and you're like, whoa, yeah, and that's the kind of stuff that I like to write about and all. But yeah, I'd like to hear some of y'all thoughts on it if we do have anybody. I don't know if we have anybody in here, but what I will do is keep the video post so people can go back and they can listen in, and then I can just write the comments and describes and do all that fun stuff that we all like. And it looks like we got the video playing. I keep doing it. I keep forgetting to do that. Alright, let me switch it over to the other screen. There you go. Oh, if y'all were wondering about like some of the stuff on here, so the little green little girl, that's actually Angie. Like remember how I told you about something violent happened? Yeah, that's the violent part. That's it. Um, but yeah, so I put like on the screen here so you can get a little feel of the ideas and the kind of art style that I have and everything, which is really cool. But yeah, I don't know if we got anybody. I wonder if anybody on Facebook put that poll together. And I don't think anybody, because I did share a poll on here, but I think I got somebody else in here on Facebook that is watching. And hi, how y'all doing? You can always say hi in the comments, and I'll be able to tell. I've been going back and forth between the three that I'm doing live to see if anybody's comment or if anything's happening. Because it looks like the YouTube chat shows up in the stream. For those who I use Streamlab OBS. It's a free streaming service. So chat it pretty much shows me. It's just got the YouTube chat, and it doesn't really show me anything else. But yeah, so if anybody, was wondering about stuff, and it looks like, we had One watcher. Okay. And 12 views. Alright. So, I am open to questions if anybody's got them, because I do know he do says that I have at least one person watching on all of these. It says Facebook, I got 2 people watching, and now it says I only have 1 watching, and now it says 2, so somebody's constantly watching. All right. But like I was saying earlier, there has been some interesting stuff that's been going on lately. We're seeing a lot of change lately, and I think this will affect a lot of stuff on how, our art and communities is treated and all. I mentioned this last time I was on chat that I'm working with Zazu, which is a graphic novel and publisher company, and pretty much with them, we are working on new way of marketings to get artists, get their videos and get their information more public. And one of the reasons why we are doing this is because of the ad problems that we have on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and everything. It makes it actually very difficult for, small entrepreneurs to get their information out there and to grow their following bases and everything like that. We go to conventions and stuff, and conventions are difficult too, because at conventions, especially if you got original art, um, and a lot of the artists, because even the ones who do fan art, I've talked to them, and they said that they have like maybe a couple of original art on the table. They have like maybe 1 or 2 or something like that, and they said that they would love to actually produce more of the original art, but they feel like they have to constantly always create fan art because that keeps them afloat and keeps them into business and all. They feel like, they can't necessarily branch out on their own and do their own original art and, and create their own ideas and stuff. And I think that's a huge problem when it comes to our society, that we have creative people, but they feel like, that the market is so hard for them as an artist to survive and live as themselves, to show their original work, that they have to constantly reproduce somebody else's work, and they have to go to the anime conventions and the Comic Cons. However, that's a lot of them, because if you see how many vendors there are and how much they work and all, and everybody's fighting to have the best Goku. Everybody's fighting to have the best My Hero Academia. Everybody's fighting to have the best Star Wars, best Star Trek, fan artwork and stuff like that. And they're competing with each other. But you know what? They're really good artists. They're really cool to talk to. They really are passionate about their art, and they really love their art and all. But they're so busy creating, somebody else's work, because they feel like they can't survive making original art. And I'm like, you realize that that's a catch 22, because at the same time, people can't actually learn about your original art if you're doing that, and they can't, you can't form a fan base around that by doing that. And so you isolate yourself, you isolate your abilities, so you can't create more work. Because if you only have like a handful of pieces that original work, it doesn't give the consumers, very much options as far as what to select, because it's art is, up to the beholder, is up to the people that view it. So some people may really, really love Crying Snake, and some people may really, really hate it. But I have people that love my Blood Rivers of Swords because there's a lot of people that look at that and they think it's crosses and they think it looks like a religion piece when it's not. But I don't care. Art can mean something totally completely to somebody else and everything. That's what's the great thing about art is there is no wrong answer about what it looks like. If you feel like you get inspiration from it, because you see it a different way, that's great. That's what art is. That's what's the fun of art and all. But that's what I'm saying. If you have limit yourself where you're constantly creating fan art all the time, then that pretty much means that you're stuck. You're stuck doing that for how long you're going to do it. Because when you change stuff up and you decide the next day, hey, I want to have more original work, then your customers are going to throw a fit about it because they have been used to you for so long creating fan art and they are coming to you specifically because they're looking for this character that they love and all. And I mean, I have no problem with fan art. I have like 3 pieces I've done, and that's it. I won't do any more unless it's commission based and somebody's is willing to pay me to do, acrylic style painting on the canvas and all. Because I will not go out on my way to create fan art to get people interest in my art. Because I rather spend my time developing new characters, working on my comic story, working on proving my story, telling my bits, getting better at writing. That's why I blog. I write blogs so I can get better at writing, so I can be a better comic book writer. Because I have a huge issue with grammar. I've even had a video where I rammed about grammar and all. But I feel like, you have to work on improving yourself and getting those things out so that, pretty much if you do those things, then, you get better at your stuff and then people appreciate it. People appreciate, good fine work because you're always constantly working to reshape yourself and all. But yeah, that's my little rant about that. And because I mean, I really would love to see more artists, get out there and test the waters out and do a more original work, because I mean, I always love working with other artists. I love working the idea, like, I especially want to build my comic book team because I eventually want to, you know, have a team of people to work with when it comes to my comic series. Because right now I'm doing everything myself, but eventually I would love to actually have, a few people and we can all work together on it and create some good content, series and stuff like that and all. Because I believe that there is merit to, working as a team together as artists. It's not always about cut through. Let me compete with you. You need to come over here and buy my art. No, forget them. Forget them over there at that table. Don't go with them. No, no, because honestly, uh, there's no comparison. Because even when I'm at conventions and stuff like that, they're gonna have a different art style than I am. Nobody's gonna be able to copy my style. People can try to copy my style. People can try to copy my characters and everything like that and all. But the way I draw my character has been ingrained in me since I've been little, and I've been drawn a certain way. And so they can try, but it's not gonna come out unique. And not just that, I'm always coming up and working on new ideas that I don't think they can keep up with me. And and that's another thing. Like when you gotta be inventive, and you always gotta constantly, work on yourself and come up with new ideas and stuff. But I haven't met somebody who can keep up with the level of stuff that I put out and all, because I put out a lot of stuff with blogs, writing, video editing. I'm working on online videos that I'm going to soon get up so I can start teaching people how to do stuff. Yeah, because I'm going to be teaching people how to make comics and all, because I do want to change the layouts of how we do stuff and all, because for me, I don't use Adobe. I don't use Adobe at all. I haven't sold my soul to Adobe. Yes, that's right. I had to sell my soul to Adobe. And I use Affinia Designer and Affinia um, Photo. They're equivalent to Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. And I use those programs instead to do that and everything. But I use those because you know what? It's only $50 one time to pay, and then I get all the free updates. Like I just had a brand new update on Affinia Designer, which was great and all. So it's really cool. They keep up with it. They're always constantly researched. They also have um a format and tutorials and stuff like that and everything. And they are responsive. They're really good responsive. They're always kind of like trying to listen to their consumers and listen to what people want and trying to work towards getting those things what people want and stuff. So that's really cool. But yeah, so that's pretty much what's been going on and my blog and a little rant on artists who needs to stick to original stuff. But I mean, that's my view on it, and it's my opinion. So I'm not saying they have to do it. I'm just saying that if they seriously want a career or they want to develop themselves as artists, they will have to go that route. And I mean, you can only you can only keep up for so long with copying other people, like other people designs and characters and stuff like that. Yeah, you have your own take, it is your own art, but it's still somebody else's character. And eventually those characters, people will get tired of them too, because there's already Star Wars is not as popular as it used to be, because of all the movies and stuff that they came out, um, and a lot of fans were not happy with the latest movies that they came out. Um, we're seeing like similar stuff um, with other things out there. It's just that eventually what happens is, you know, yeah, there's a lot of like towards the stuff that came out in the 90s and stuff, but I mean, we don't know what it's going to be in 10 years. In 10 years, we can have a lot of people that decide that they don't like the 90s anymore, and it can totally be different, and the marketplace can totally be different and everything, and people would have less interest in those characters and stuff. Because over time, we've seen that happen with different series. We'll have, because you always, I mean, you're gonna have those strong fan, communities and all, but they're they're usually not that big. Big people, I mean, it just really depends. But a lot of like the strong fans, they're usually not really that great in numbers. Usually the people that makes up the numbers is what the public sees at that time and what's the trending and everything. And so that is very, that is very like imbalanced. It goes up and down all the time. There's no constant likes on too many series for too long and so it really depends. So that is a risk about when you do fan art is that you may not get that that many people to like it for too long and all. It just depends on what's trending, and trending is really not safe to chase after anyway, because trending can actually change even 24/7 depending on if something happens in our society or not and all. And it can drop like dramatically to the point where nobody's interested in it anymore. And there has been cases where we've seen stuff like that happen. So that's why I say fan art is risky for artists and all, and that aspect and that idea, and not just that, conventions too, you know, because we are seeing a drop in many anime conventions and many Comic Cons across the country, especially here on the East Coast. There's and it's probably not happened so much in Texas and Los Angeles, where we have huge populations and where Funimation is located, but we are seeing, especially here on the East Coast, we're seeing a big drop in it, in attendance and all. And what happens is that hurts the vendors. That hurts the vendors more than anybody, and all. And most artists are in the vendor rooms or the artist alleys and things like that. So that hurts and all. When and then we even see the trend of people just not having money or people not wanting to spend the money on anything, where there's even been times when I've gone to conventions and people don't even want to spend $10. They want to spend like $1, $5 at the most on things and all. But that is something to keep in mind, especially if you are looking to, set tables up and be an artist at a vendor. You have to realize that it may be really cool as a short run to do a lot of fan art, but in the long run, you're going to have the hardest time if you're going to just depend on Comic Cons and anime conventions to run your business and all, because you also have to factor the cost of a table, the cost of a hotel, the cost of traveling, and don't forget parking, because parking is huge, and especially if you have a lot of stuff in your vehicle that you need to get to there, and then you need to find good parking and stuff like that. So those are all huge factors, like when you're setting up a business, and if you're dependent on sales of fan art, most likely, and you're not going to be able to sell that fan art on online. No, people will go after you for copyright if you try to sell it online. I mean, Etzel has some of it and all, but you have to be careful. Some people on Etzel has actually been taken down because of copyrights and stuff. Um, so you have to be very careful on how you present your art, and you also have to be very careful what kind of art it is for fan art too on there, because those those are concerning things that you would have to worry about those things for sure. And that's one of the reasons why I don't have any of my fan art online at all. None. I used to in the past. I used to like put a couple and do small drawings and all, and then just post the original ones up there for maybe like $5 or something like that. And I had like the paintings and everything. But as I wanted to seriously get my business running and all, I decided to take all of that down and not even have the rest of that and all, because I knew also that if I do start building my stuff as my original art, if anybody who wants to be vindictive and they want to go after me, they would probably go after the fact that I have made fan art and try to tell me that, and they would try to pursue it as something else that it's not and all. But yeah, those are things that you probably definitely want to consider, and you want to be careful, because right now as it is, the internet hasn't been friendly at all. The internet's been vindictive, and 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 it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better because what happens is people get really competitive about being competitive. They get so competitive and so bent out of shape to the point where, you know what, they go after people that are minding their own business and all. So you have to be careful about things like that today on the internet and all, because it's just not pretty. And a lot of times they're actually large corporations that do it. They're large corporations that do it and all, because it's not looking it's not looking like, oh, roses and candies, for them these days. Especially when you hear stuff about what like Trump did with the tariffs on Chinese goods. They're not happy right now because this doesn't just affect the retail stores. He also said the manufacturers and other electronics and electronic companies. Yeah, think about like Microsoft. Microsoft is probably not liking the idea because they probably get a lot of electronic parts from there. But I mean, they all they're all not pretty much happy about this and everything that's going on, because this affects them overall. And but we'll see how everybody bounce back, but I think this is actually good news for us artists, because it gives us opportunity to have a chance to sell our goods and everything like that. And but yeah. So I think I've been writing up long enough. I'm gonna let y'all go, and because I'm not really seeing many people on here, so I'm gonna go. Sounds probably not that great either, but I'll post the video and keep the board for y'all. But thank you so much for tuning in and watching, and I'll have more for y'all later on. Okay? Bye.